Hey everyone, welcome back. Today marks the last day of Summer Cup, and I tried my best to finish it off with a bang. I've seen a lot of people use Kingdra in GBL the last few days. I don't have a good Shadow Kingdra myself, so I was forced to use regular Kingdra today, which honestly, it worked out so well. We were able to use it to get to the 2800s, using not a very spicy team, but a team that was very consistent nonetheless. Let's take a look. Alright, so getting into game number one here, we're going to see our team is Kingdra, Charjabug, and Vigoroth, so a very meta team, right? But it's a team that works because it's just so solid. The Mantine lead is a little bit awkward. We have a Charjabug in the back, which would be so much better against this, and I've got to the point where every time you see a Mantine or a Pelipper or a Gyarados, one of those water-flying types, you basically know that in the back there's going to be a Diggersby, right? So we're going to throw the Outrage here. The frame drops kind of made it so I couldn't throw right when I wanted to, but we still get the move off before they get their next Aerial Ace, and the Outrage is going to get shielded. I love seeing shield advantage here, because normally the best answer for Vigoroth on these teams are going to be this Mantine. So getting advantage, basically knocking this thing out here with my lead, getting a bit of a farm down here as well is very nice to see. And I'm thinking Diggersby in the back. I am kind of fine just staying in this matchup once they pivot out to their Vigoroth here, right? I want to make sure that if I'm going to have my Charjabug be used this game, it's going to be used somewhere better than on a Diggersby. And Vigoroth is not a very good answer here to Charjabug, so I can use this matchup as a way to at least get some use out of my Charjabug, and my Vigoroth isn't all that helpless against the Mantine. I'm going to throw the second X-Scissor here. It takes 2 to knock out the Vigoroth, and they're going to shield it, actually. So, I mean, my Charjabug, it's actually done quite a bit of work this game, right? We already got to the 2 X-Scissors. We took a shield, and we almost knocked out this Vigoroth. We have a 2 shield advantage now for our Vigoroth in the back, and we even get to this final X-Scissor. My Charjabug is a pretty high rank one here. It doesn't win CMP a lot in the mirrors, but it does do a lot of work in matchups like that. And there's the Diggersby. I called it. It was a pretty obvious read, though. Mantine Diggersby is a very solid duo here in the Summer Cup. So I'm just going to be trying to play this out, save up some energy just in case they swap back in with their Mantine. And if they do, I'm going to Rock Slide it after 3 to make sure I get it off before their Aerial Ace. Rock Slide's going to come through. It's going to be more than enough to knock out. A Body Slam wouldn't quite have been enough, which is why I go for the Rock Slide, just to guarantee the win. And the Diggersby sees it, and they top left. GG's game number 1. Let's get on into the next one here. We have our Kingdra into a Toxapex. This is a very awkward lead. I have a bit of play here with my Kingdra, but the Shadow Kingdra actually has a much better matchup here. That's because you do more Dragon Breath damage. You just shred through this Toxapex with the Shadow. The non-Shadow here, unfortunately, is a little bit less offensive here into the Toxapex, so we're just going to have to try to play out this matchup and try to win it. They get an insane Brine Bait against me here, which really sucks to see. I was hoping that I'd be able to, maybe call a Sludge Wave there. If I would have no-shielded that Brine, it would have done nothing. We get the Outrage off, and it actually lands. Can we Dragon Breath down before they get a move off? We can. That's huge, because if they could get another move, that would have been really bad. We would have lost basically 2 shields there. They come in with their Superior. It makes me wonder, what would you have in the back? That Superior is your best answer into Kingdra. What are they going to do? Are they going to shield or are they going to no-shield? Apparently they no-shield their Superior. Now it's so low, my Charjabug can probably Volt Switch this down. But we see in the back, there is a Typhlosion, a Shadow Typhlosion. This is so scary, right? We don't want to see this with our Charjabug. Our Vigoroth's not a great answer to this. Shield's down. I have to call the Thunder Punch. Luckily it is. Can I get off this Body Slam here to take the shield? It looks like I can get off 1. Can we get off the second? It's going to be down to new mechanic if I can or not. It's a bit of an inconsistent mechanic here. We'll see if we get it. We do. We barely get the Body Slam off. And this Body Slam is going to be able to strip the last shield away. Now our Charjabug should be able to fast move farm this thing all the way down, and then we can have these X-Scissors to throw into that Superior. We can shield this, and because of how clunky 5-turn moves are into 4-turn moves, we're actually in such a good spot where they won't even land another Incinerate on us. We have the X-Scissor loaded, we can throw it here into the Superior. Honestly, even if we didn't get that Body Slam off with new mechanic, we could have won this game either way, because we could just get to 2 X-Scissors against this thing, but Charjabug and Vigoroth barely able to take out that Shadow Typhlosion in the back. Next up here, we're going to see the Kingdra into Kingdra matchup. There's a Shadow, mine is not. Are they going to play it out? It looks like they are. I've seen some people actually swap out of this matchup, which is kind of odd, but we actually end up seeing them catch here. And it's into a Ferrothorn. So I don't really know how I like this matchup. I know that Kingdra lead normally has like Toxapex and Ferrothorn in the back, so I'm going to save my Charjabug for that potential Toxapex, and I'm going to use my Vigoroth here against this Ferrothorn. Pharaoh does resist all of my charge moves, though, so it does make this matchup a little bit awkward. Am I going to be able to farm them down here before they get to another Power Whip, or are they going to be able to get their next move off? Looks like I can farm them down, so that Octazooka chip damage actually was kind of useful that I got into them there. What is their third Pokemon? Are they going to bring it in now, or are they going to use their other Pokemon? This one's actually a Tropius team. So instead of running the Toxapex that I was expecting, it's a double grass lineup, and I can get some Rock Slides off here. Maybe they'll throw a Leaf Blade, but if they do, they're going to be Energy Dry, and I'm kind of fine with that. Get this next move off. Are they going to shield it twice? It would probably be the best shield for them to make this game. It would do more than an X-Scissor. It looks like they do properly shield that move up. and so they have a ton of energy on this Tropius, but we have 2 shields, and Tropius is forced to throw Aerial Aces here against my Charger Bug. That's not going to do that much damage here. I can actually Leaf Blade bait. Leaf Blade is not a great move to throw against Charger Bug, but it's such an efficient move that it's almost just as good as throwing the Aerial Ace. So not the worst mistake from our opponent. They throw another Leaf Blade. I'm wondering at this point, like, are they single moved? Why are they throwing these moves at me? But we're gonna make a call again. Do they have an Aerial Ace? They actually do, so they were just baiting me, I guess, the last couple of moves. We're gonna throw our X's. We're almost at 100 energy, so we have to throw it at some point, even if it is at slightly suboptimal timing. And we know that Kingdra is still around there in the back. So we're going to try our very best here to take it out with our Charger Bug. We did sneak an X-Scissor, or a Volt Switch through, and our Kingdra should be, I guess not. Our Kingdra somehow just gets Dragon Breath down instantly there, but it's fine. We have enough energy here on our Charger Bug to just throw an X-Scissor into this Kingdra and take the game. A little bit of an awkward matchup with that Kingdra lead once they caught my move. I was hoping I could just kind of win that lead matchup out. Alright, getting into the next matchup here, we're going to have our Kingdra into a Charger Bug. The non-Shadow Kingdra is not able to 2-shield through this anywhere near as much as the Shadow can, so it makes it so we kind of just want to play out the lower shielding scenarios. Rather than investing shields here, I'm just going to no-shield this first move, try to get a shield from them, and then sweep with my backline. We can get up to the Outrage right before they get to a move, but I feel like the Outrage is pretty obvious to throw here, because my Octazooka wouldn't come anywhere near knocking them out, and so yeah, they do shield that just because that is such an obvious Outrage, but we don't get the debuff, they get a full farm now, so their Charge Bug is loaded, and I'm kind of worried, like, this energy is going to go a long way into my backline. I don't have anything to soak it on. Our Charge Bug's going to try its best here, and they're actually going to pivot out to their Greedent. Seeing a Greedent here makes me wonder if their backline is actually weak to Vigoroth. I don't really think you'd safe swap a Greedent in this meta if you weren't actually trying to bait out that Vigoroth, so we'll have to see what their third is, and maybe try to like save shields or save health on our Vigoroth to try to sweep with it in the back. We have to keep in mind, though, they saved that Charger Bug, they still have a move left over on it, so our Vigoroth's going to have to put in a lot of work here if it wants to win this game. Another X-Scissor comes through. We actually had another shield, so now I feel like it's a pretty nice situation to just swap into my Vigoroth, try to get energy lead here, and if they come back in that Charger Bug, I want to be able to have enough energy for a Body Slam to be able to Body Slam it and knock it out before they get to too many more moves. We have to start shielding something this game. Our Vigoroth would be getting really low if we didn't, and there's the Charger Bug, comes back in. I know they're not at back-to-back moves, so I can farm up a little bit of extra energy here and throw a Body Slam right before they get to another move. Now, we basically have to hope that it's something weak to Vigoroth in the back, which the way they've been playing, it makes me think it probably is. Maybe a Diggersby, maybe... Well, if they top left like that, it really makes you wonder, right? If it was Diggersby, they probably still had play. Maybe it was like a Talonflame, something I could one-shot with Rock Slide. And speaking of Talonflames, we have a Talonflame lead right here. Talonflame is very bad into Kingdra. We resist the Fire-type damage. It's really only the Flying-type damage that's going to threaten it. So we have a Ferrothorn safe swap. This thing isn't necessarily the safest swap in the meta, but we have our Charger Bug here that can resist basically everything it had. I didn't know this at the time, but apparently on the safe swap, if you're not quick enough, Charger Bug actually can lose the Zero Shield matchup here against the Ferrothorn. So we're going to have to invest a shield here if we want to maintain switch advantage, which honestly I think I probably do. I know that at like worst, I can discharge, that Talonflame, try to get the shield back, or maybe just spam out X-Scissors, or maybe discharges into whatever the third Pokemon is that comes in to try to farm me down. X-Scissors is going to come through here, we barely don't knock them out, and they get to that third Power Whip, which is going to draw our first shield. We can farm them down now, though, so that's one good thing, but they hard swap. So they swap right here into their Vigoroth, which means that they just kind of give up switch advantage. They're not even going to try to fight for it, and we can swap into a Vigoroth of our own. Now we know we have our switch advantage here. We have our Vigoroth into the Vigoroth Mirror, and we have our Kingdra into that Talonflame. This is kind of rough, though, because we are down with shields here, so I don't know exactly what moveset this Talonflame is running. If it has Brave Bird, I'm kind of concerned that they can start fast-moving me and then Brave Bird me and knock me out on my Kingdra. We're going to get a shield here. They kind of have to shield this, right? I could have gone for Body Slam, but I just want that guaranteed shield, and we do get it. Kingdra's going to come back in, and at this point, we just have to see what moveset it has. If it Brave Birds me, I guess, fair play. Hopefully I can fast move them down. If they don't, hopefully I can get to enough charge moves. Honestly, with how slow Kingdra is, I think I still have to commit to fast move pressure here. We'll shield up this next fly, and at this point, I'm not going to throw a charge move. I know that I absolutely need to go for the fast moves. They actually went for the flame charge there, which means that they weren't going to be able to get to the next move, I guess. I think they could have got to a fly if they wanted, but I think they were trying to go for the fast move farm down on me so they could knock out my Charger Bug in the back. All right, getting into the next game, though, we have our Kingdra into a Dunsparce. Dunsparce is a very rare Pokemon to see. Honestly, this is maybe my first one that I've seen in the entire Summer Cup meta, so it's kind of interesting. I don't know how this matchup plays out. I'm sure I win the zeros if I just go straight Outrage here. and we throw the outrage right when we get to it. Want to make sure that we can get this before the second move from this Dunsparce. Dunsparce is pretty spammy. I'm kind of worried that we see this here. My Vigoroth in the back would be so good against this Dunsparce. And, I'm assuming that my Vigoroth's going to have no play into the back line. If you have something weak to Vigoroth and lead, you have to expect Vigoroth answers in the back. Probably some sort of ghost type, maybe Bubble Jellicent, maybe something else. We'll have to see what this team's going to be. And we see the Shadow Kingdra come in. This is actually really nice to see because, again, we have play with our Vigoroth into this. I'm not going to swap out. I'm just going to try to take a shield here, maybe get to a second move. And if they throw their move before I get my next one off, then I'll just farm this down here with Charge Bug. Looks like they do throw their energy, so I'm going to farm this down. They had a lead that was pretty strong into Charge Bug, and a Pokemon here. This is another one of those answers into Charge Bug that can kind of neutralize it. So I'm hoping that the third Pokemon is something kind of weak to Charge Bug. What's going to come in here? It's going to be a Toxapex. Toxapex is very weak to Charge Bug, actually. I shouldn't say very weak. It has more play than it should, just with the Poison Jab fast move pressure, and the fact that Brian rather, imagine Scald Toxapex. Just how Brian is able to kind of chip it down. At this point, I am basically in Brian range, so I have to shield this, build up energy, and also I need to have energy for that Dunsparce if it ever comes back in. We're going to throw the Discharge here. I guess they sack swap their Dunsparce. I feel like this is kind of a mistake, because Dunsparce was going to be able to get to another move, I think, if they didn't sack it there. So now I just build up to another move, and I have back-to-back discharges. This discharge probably is just enough to knock him out, though. We should be able to take the game with our Charge Bug just sweeping the entire team. All 3 KOs with our Charge Bug. Let's go. Alright, getting on into the next game here. We're going to have our Kingdra lead into a Vigoroth. Very neutral lead. We can win the Zero Shield matchup, but I think the 1s and 2s probably do go in favor of Vigoroth just because they kind of outbulk and outspam you. We won't be able to 2-shield through this with just Dragon Breath fast move pressure, and our charge moves are incredibly slow. So we're going to tank the first Body Slam. We're going to build up to the Outrage, but then we're going to bait the Octazooka. Again, I feel like with the non-Shadow Kingdra, it's much more tempting to just straight up go for the Outrage, and your opponent knows that, so they're going to shield the Octazooka, and we get the debuff as well. This debuff, I don't think that would have been enough to prevent them from countering me down, but they throw a move anyway. I'm totally fine with this, because now I can come in with my own Vigoroth, farm them down, hopefully take a debuffed move here, so they're just going to waste their energy on my own Vigoroth here, which is what they do. We have energy lead Vigoroth, we have Charge Bug in the back, and we have a shield advantage. So I feel like there's a lot of things we'd have play into. A Jellicent comes in, a Bubble Jellicent at that, so our Vigoroth doesn't really want to see this. I'm so happy to get so much Volt Switch damage in here. I don't really need to land a charge move on this, it's just the fast move pressure I'm getting is going to put them in range where Rock Slide Vigoroth can deal with it in the back. They try to catch a move, and it's a Ferrothorn in the back, which means that my Charge Bug is a bit of a core breaker to this team. We're going to throw the X's or try to get some shields, try to get some damage onto this, and see just how much work we can do here before they're going to be able to knock out our Charge Bug. We're going to throw this next X-Scissor. We have another X-Scissor nearly loaded. They're going to have to throw a move here, and we're going to survive it. We know that Pharaoh can only have resisted damage unless they're running the Acid Spray attack. Acid Spray, not super common, and it wouldn't even do that much if they did have it. We're going to throw another X-Scissor. We're basically at our next one, so are they going to shield this, or are they just going to let it go? They let it go. They're going to try their best to take out my Charge Bug here with their Jellicent, and I know it's fast move pressure that I want here. It doesn't really matter if I get to 2 moves. As long as I get this Volt Switch damage off, I know it's going to be in Rock Slide plus countered range. Yet another Volt Switch through, and we get this Discharge off. Now we're going to strip their final shield, and they're basically in Rock Slide range. We're 1 off the Rock Slide, so our Vigoroth will be able to close out the game against this Ghost type. Jellicent, especially with Bubble, is one of the best answers to Vigoroth in the game, but it's not a hard wall, it's no Annihilate, right? So we're able to take the match there and finish it off. And with the end of that battle, it's going to give us the 5-0 here. We're going to be able to cash it in. I think we started out this set at 2747, so this only got us up to 2801. I was hoping for a bit of a higher climb, but, what's that, like 54 points from that 5-0? Normally you're going to expect more like 75 if you're not super high up on the leaderboards, but 2800s, I'll take it. This early in the season, being this high up, it's not a good idea. The queue times are so bad, but it's fun. It's fun to try to push and to try to challenge yourself like this, so I'm happy to do it. And tomorrow, Open Great League comes back, so hopefully the queue times are going to be a little bit better then. We'll just have to see, I guess. Alright, well, thank you so much for watching. I stream Pokemon Go PvP nearly every day at twitch.tv/itsaxon, so if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. Alright, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.